Yep. Councillors, the time is now 6:30. I'll declare the meeting open. And item 1 on the agenda is apologies and leave of absence. We have 2 apologies tonight, both on leave, Councillor Brendan North and Councillor Steve Mears. I can have those accepted. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is community consultation. We have no one registered for community consultation tonight. We'll move to item 3, minutes from the previous meeting. Could I have someone move that they're true and correct record, please? Councillor Sharpen, seconded Councillor Ryan Rook. Any questions, councillors, on those minutes? There being no questions, I'll put that recommendation that they be approved. All those in favour say aye, raising your hand. Carried unanimously. We'll move to disclosures of interest. Do we have any disclosures of interest tonight, councillors? Councillor Ryan Brook.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. For item 8.1, the local traffic committee meeting minutes, specifically for point 7 in that recommendation for the shared pathway along Warwick Road. I live in the just off of Warwick Road in the vicinity, but this is a less than significant non-pecuniary interest, so I'll be staying in the room.
Thank you. Any other disclosures? There being no further disclosures, I'll move straight to item 5, mayoral minute. There is no mayoral minute. I'll move straight to item 6, 6.1. We do have one notice of motion, being questions on notice. Could I have someone move that, please?
I'll move that, Mr Mayor.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ryan Brook. Councillor Rod, do you wish to speak to that?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor. Thank you for the information.
Any further comments, councillors? I'm going to make one comment, Councillor Rodder, and I'd like to say thank you to all the staff that put so much work into this. There's a lot of work to go into this. And I'll just make a small suggestion that a lot of those questions you've asked are, whilst they're relevant to all of us, it may have been quite simple to actually ask the staff for a response on those answers via email, and we would have all got one. So, but anyway, look, we'll move on. I'll put the notice of motion as received it to receive and note. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Passed. We'll move on. Councillors, we'll go straight to item 7.1. The draft Regional Development Control Plan, the draft amendment 18, and we'll talk about, did somebody like to move that recommendation that we, Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Brook, Councillor Sutherland, you wish to speak to that?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone wish to speak against that recommendation? Any further comments on that recommendation? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Carried. We'll move straight to 7.2, proposed road names. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Impey, seconded Councillor Brook. Councillor Impey, you wish to speak to that?
No, Mr Mayor.
Anyone wish to speak against that recommendation? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Aye, carried unanimously. We'll go straight to item 8.1. Local Traffic Committee. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Budd, seconded Councillor Sharpen. Anyone wish to speak to that, Councillor Budd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, this represents some great work by our traffic staff.
Speaker, Councillor Budd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This represents some great work by our traffic staff and stakeholders who can get themselves involved in this process. I'd also like to make a personal thanks to Councillor Sharpen and yourself, Mr. Mayor, for chairing those meetings in my absence. Commend the motion.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against the recommendations in that traffic report? Anyone wish to make further comments? Councillor Rodder.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just in relation to dot point 4 and 7, I just want to ask a question about what is the problem with the turning access into the car park at the eastern side of the car park that's largely utilised by the hockey centre, adjacent to Ringers Road. Mentioned in the report that it has not, that it's been disused and has been, and I sort of would advise that it's actually, particularly in recent times, been used quite frequently it was access to that way was, I guess, stopped for some time by a large former redundant power pole, which was removed at some stage. And a lot of people have been using that access. I understand that potentially there could be the safety issues related to pedestrian traffic once that shared path is extended across there. But yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, ask the question, is it a safety issue because of its proximity to the roundabout? And that's why it's actually is being removed completely. And if I, wait for that answer for that and then maybe ask about dot point 7, or would you like me to continue?
Keep going.
Righto. In relation to dot point 7, the shared path along Warwick Road, have the residents along there, particularly between the section of residents between Edward Street and Grant Street, being contacted to ask their opinion? I couldn't see whether it was actually on the southern side of Warwick Road or the northern side. It sort of almost makes sense for it to be on the northern side. There's probably less issues with ornate footpaths and driveways and gardens that have been actually placed on the southern side of that section of Warwick Road, which was largely in, I think, 2020 or 2021 I think it was largely the reason for the consternation by the members of the public that reside in those houses, because they were potentially losing that ornate concrete driveways and potentially gardens and trees along there. And in the end, I think it was abandoned, and you can see that part of that shared pathway where it was abandoned and obviously this is to continue on with that work. But I just wondered whether they had been contacted and what's their answer now, and has there been some thought about if there is issues with that there, could it be potentially considered for the northern side of Warwick Road? And obviously that would, if it was the case, that may require some discussion with the residents who live on the northern side. They may not want it either, but I know that back then there was certainly issues with the residents between on Warwick Road between Edward Street and Grant Street.
Councillor Rodder, I will ask the director to respond, but I think he'd have to probably take both those questions on notice, because I don't think you'd have an answer for either of those. I know there'll be consultation would have been taken out and it's gone through the traffic committee, so I'm assuming that it's been sorted, but I'll ask the director for comment.
Through you, Mr Mayor. I'll have to take the first question on notice, Councillor Rodder. In relation to the shared path on Warwick Road, you're correct. We proposed to have one there previously, and we were in the design process and we did the consultation, and there was quite a lot of the residents there that objected to it. So we had lots of other options. I think we ended up building the shared path around the golf course at Tamworth or on Marathon Street and around there. So, and no sooner did we do that than the residents on Warwick Road, some said, why didn't we get a shared path? So there's quite a few of those residents who do want it, and there's some who don't. So we've got funding for the design now. So part of the design process will be to do the consultation, look at all of the options and see where we land with it. And we'll just have to wait and see what the consultation brings up.
Thanks. Satisfied with that, Councillor Rodder? Any further comments, councillors? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Carried unanimously. We'll move straight into governance and strategy. Item 9.1, integrated planning and reporting. Could I have a move and a seconder on that report, please? Move Councillor Sutherland, seconded Councillor Brooke. Councillor Sutherland, you wish to speak to that?
Just briefly, Mr Mayor, and that's just to point out the work that's been completed as per the delivery plan, and good to see so many projects getting delivered and on track to being delivered. This is a great way of letting community know where we're up to, how we're tracking on the commitments that we've made. It's a great way of the IP&R framework making sure we're as transparent as possible. So it's great to be able to read through it and see that progress.
Thanks, councillor Sutherland. Anyone wish to speak against that recommendation? Any further comments? There being no further comments, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. Carried unanimously. We'll move straight to item 9.2. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Move councillor Sharpen, seconded councillor Budd. Councillor Sharpen, you wish to speak to that?
No, thanks, I reserve the right.
Anyone wish to speak against the recommendations in that report? Any further comments on that report? There being no further comments, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. We'll move into community services, item 10. 10.1, Tamworth Regional Heritage Working Group. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Move councillor Brooke, seconded councillor Sutherland. Councillor Brooke, you wish to speak to that?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just quickly as well, speaking of as a member of that committee, I just wanted to comment that we were happy to see the diversity of submissions we received this year. It was great in particular to see that there was a good spread of both areas of Tamworth with heritage character and properties outside of Tamworth itself. And with the expansion of the heritage conservation areas in East and West Tamworth, as per the earlier item in the meeting, we hope to see an uptick in people applying for these grants to help maintain the classic look of these areas going into the future.
Thanks, councillor Brooke. Anyone wish to speak against that recommendation? Any further comments on that recommendation? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Carried. We'll move straight into item... Where are we now? 10.2. 10.2. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Move councillor Sharpen, seconded councillor Impey. Councillor Sharpen, you wish to speak on that?
No, thanks.
Anyone wish to speak against that? Any comments on that? I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Thank you, councillors. Could I have a report to... No, we don't need a report to move into closed council. Councillors, I'll... declare that we've got through the business paper quite quickly and that there wasn't much in there, but that's great. So I'll declare the meeting closed.